So before I started working with you, I was in a big space of like flux. I just had a breakup job switch. I like moved to a different place and I just was in a place in my life where I didn't know where I wanted to go, and I felt like I had heard of like working with coaches before and like had seen how it could be beneficial to people. And someone had like sent me something of Nino's page, and I checked it out. I liked the content. I sent him a DM. I was like, "Hey, bro, like your content, whatever, whatever." And eventually we decided to work together. Yeah, before I had worked with you, I had, I've gone through a ton of like the spiritual marketplace. I've done meditation alone, like inquiry, shadow work, psychedelics. But when you're stuck in your like own reflection chamber of your mind, that's where like you can do all these things, but you don't know like where your blind spots are. And so working with someone like Nino can like I remember early on, he said, "I'm just a mirror for you and will reflect back what I can't necessarily see." And so having that aspect of someone who's like clear on their side has really allowed me to get in touch with the parts of myself that I wasn't necessarily seeing or addressing that were holding me back at the time. Just watching your videos, I sensed your authenticity and genuine passion for helping others with this work. And like that's the only thing that really mattered to me, was someone who I could tell was like in a heart-based space about it, genuinely wants to help others become connected to themselves and love and God and whatever, and just like someone who genuinely is cares about it. And I felt that as soon as I met you. The experience was great. Usually we started with going over the week's homework, and but then once we went through that, we would sort of branch off into whatever needed addressing at that time, whether it's personal issues in my current life, going through like the past and doing shadow work, stuff like that. But it was really like an intuitive process of like what needed to be addressed. Like perhaps there was something I didn't want to address, and I knew that's exactly what I needed to address. And so it was really just an intuitive process that like always unfolded to exactly what I needed at that time. Sure. I'd say three things were honesty, willingness, and just forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Yeah. The honesty with really being honest about like what's going on in my experience, what's holding me back, the beliefs I have about why I'm in a certain place. The willingness to actually do the work, whether it's the journaling, the meditation, whatever, to actually put the process into motion instead of keeping it conceptual and just like knowing all this spiritual stuff but still suffering a bunch. And being willing being willing to let go of the past and all of my pretty much bullying myself about mistakes I made in the past, and just coming to a place of like that's where I was at, and like I was trying my best, and like I truly love that part of me. And it's just like such a blessing to come to a place of like there's nothing, I really never did anything wrong. Like I really was just like being me the best I could. The word readiness comes to mind. And it's just like they've tried a bunch of methods on their own, perhaps, and trying to like find themselves or, be spiritual, or whatever, but they just don't really know what they're doing. Just having someone who I would say is very authentic and genuine on this path and has done the work, and I can just being in someone's presence, you can always tell like what they're about, and just someone who's really ready to be honest with themselves and who really wants their happiness, their genuine happiness, whether it's, you know, what they think it's going to be or not. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I would recommend working with Nino. I would say I worked with this great guy named Nino, who is a genuine, passionate, authentic soul who, if you're willing to be vulnerable with yourself and like he's not trying to be the cool spiritual dude. He's not trying to have the most Instagram followers or anything like that. He really just wants people to be happy. And if you really want that without like, I don't want to say without ego because ego's always affecting things, but like on a heart level, you really want happiness, then he's the perfect guy to work with. I'd say the difference from when I started to once the program was completed is like I have transformed so much. And it really is like as a result of the work that I've put in my own time. And so just having someone like that to hold you accountable and also be like inspiring, available, someone for support, and someone who just cares about everyone's development is just like beautiful. And Nino is the perfect example of that. And I would just say that I've become much more available to love and authenticity throughout this process, and I'm excited to see how it continues to unfold.